So now we have to implement the post request handler. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to actually gather all of this information that we're sending. And additionally, we also need to know what user is sending this information. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create our model. Okay, so we need a new model to store our recipes. So inside of models, let's right click, new Python file, and say recipes. Okay, and we need to import NDB. So we can go ahead and say from google.appengine.ext import NDB. Great. Now we can define our class, which is going to be recipes, and extend off of ndb.model m with the uppercase. Okay, good. So now what do we have in the recipe? Well, we have which user is posting the recipe, that for sure. So user is equal to ndb, and now here, instead of saving the ID, we can save the entire key, because this way we can just extract the key from the recipe and call the get method onto the key, and this way we will have easier access to the user. So we can say key property, okay, and we can even specify what kind of key it is. So let's say the kind is going to be users. So if we try to pass in a key into this field which is not of kind users, it won't allow us to save the instance to the data store, okay? Now, the second thing I'm going to store is whether or not this recipe is parsed. So what do I mean by parsed? Remember a couple of sections ago, I told you that we eventually will build out a parser which will go out to another website and fetch recipes from there, okay? So in order to know whether it's a user or if it's parsed, I also want to store a field which is parsed. Okay, so ndb.boolean key, and this will be a required field, so true. And if it's parsed, I want to save the original URL of the recipe, because it's always better if you're parsing content. You want to give some attribution to the author of that content or to the website that hosts that original content. So it's nice if we can actually send our traffic to the original creator of that content, okay? And most recipe search engines do that. If they have parsed content, what they do is they show the recipe, but they show everything except for the directions, okay? So if you really want to know how to cook that recipe, they tell you to go to the original source. Because like that, it's fair, because you didn't come up with the content of the recipe, you just parsed it, okay? So I'm going to say source URL is equal to ndb.string property. And we're going to leave this blank because it's not going to be required, because if our user created it, then it won't have a source URL, because it's going to be our recipe. Okay, so then come all the typical fields like title, ndb.string property, and this field is going to be required because every recipe has to have a title. Then we have cuisine is the same thing, ndb.string property. Then we have difficulty, which is going to be a string property. Now, here comes a handy little feature NDB has, is we can provide exactly what kind of choices we have, because remember, difficulty is either going to be easy, medium, or hard. Okay, there's no other option. So we can also limit this when we are putting items into the data store. So we can say choices is equal to a list, and here we can say all the possible options we have. So easy is one, medium is another, and hard is the other. Okay. Then we have prep time, ndb.integer property. Default is going to be 0. Same for cook time. Okay. Then we have ingredients. And since this is a structured information, this is some kind of a structured information, or at least we will want to structure it, we want to save it as a JSON. So we will say JSON property. And this JSON will contain 3 keys. Well, it will be a list of dictionaries, because we may have more than one ingredient, so it'll be a list of dictionaries, and each dictionary will be the 3 components of the ingredient we said, okay? Okay. The next thing will be directions is equal to NDB, and this will be a text property because we don't want this a string property because this potentially there could be a lot of text here. So we want to open up, oops, sorry, I have a typo here, directions. So we want to make sure that all the text we can put in here, we will be able to fit in. And here we can say repeated is equal to true because each line of text will be a item in the list of the total directions, okay? So essentially we will be storing a list of text here. And now, in order to store the photo, we need to save it into a separate service, okay? And this service is called a blob store. So in order to save this in this blob store, just like the data store, when you store something, it returns a key to be able to access that item, okay? So we need to save the key of the photo. So let's say photo key is equal to ndb.blobStoreKey property, okay? And since we want to be able to access this photo, or we want our browsers to be able to access this photo, we will also need to store or save the URL to access this photo and be able to download it by our browsers. So let's see, photo URL is equal to ndb, whoopsie daisy, ndb.string property, okay? Okay, so this is it.